I will pray for you, but if you get on my nerve, I will cuss you smooth out. My mouth ain't under control yet, and I can throw these hands. And let me tell you something, if I get my hands on you, I promise you, you gonna know you've been in a fight. But I'm trying not to go there because I'm in transition.
Hell yeah, that is my theme song. Listen, I might have to run that back because that is just my theme song. That's what I like, baby. And it gets me in the mood to tear down this Netflix The Reckoning. We're talking about this Diddy documentary, 50 Cents. I have to give you a round of applause. It's brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. When we're talking about the battle of the minds, 50 Cents won this round. He won. He won this round. And not only did he win this round, he did something that we didn't, or let me talk for myself in the first person. 50 Cent did something that I didn't think he was capable of. I didn't think he was capable of having a heart for anybody. But he managed to make sure that his baby mama, Daphne Joy, was not featured in this documentary. He showcased Cassie and anybody else that was down to get down with the free costs, voluntarily or forcibly. But he made sure that his son's mother was not featured. There was no mention of her. I have to say, brilliant work. And when we're talking about the battle of two evil geniuses, we talked about it yesterday. Two evil geniuses, cut from the same cloth, but different in many ways, but also the same in many ways, okay? There's no hero here. It's just the battle of the water signs. Let me tell you something about a water sign. On the left, faded into black, you have 50 cents. On the right, front and center. Well, let me go back. On the right, on the left, right, left, right, left, right, left. On the left, faded into black, you have 50 cents. He is a water sign to the core. He is a Cancer. On the right, front and center, you have Sean Diddy Puffy Combs. He's a Scorpio. Two water signs, both of them willing to go there. But this round, 51, period. Listen, water signs can be the worst thing that that's ever happened to you if you get on their bad side. And according to rumors, it's being alleged that 50 had this in works years ago. He already knew what steps he was going to take. He's been 5 steps ahead of Diddy. He just waited and waited and waited and waited. Listen, you don't ever want to play with a water sign and become their enemy. They will wait and wait and wait and wait. And that's what 50 Cents did. And I'm still scratching my damn head. I've been watching these episodes. I'm on my second round. Tonight, we're talking about The Reckoning, episode 1. Y'all, I got some hell of a notes. We're going to break it down. We're going to talk about it. I'm going to fly through it. And then I just may open up the lines. I'm not sure. It depends on how y'all behave. Netflix has released Sean Combs' The Reckoning in episode 1. Episode 1 is going to set the stage, y'all. This is the most talked about documentary. The numbers are in. 50 Cents is winning. He posted the numbers. Numbers don't lie. If you are a numbers guy, if you are a numbers girl, listen. Let me just catch my breath. The numbers are doing what the numbers are doing. This is the #1 Netflix program worldwide. Is #1 in the US, I do believe, and #2 worldwide. I'm telling you, I want to know what I want to know. What did I ask 50 Cents today? I said, he ain't gonna answer me, but I said, what's the profit? I can't remember what's the gross. How much have you grossed? What's the gross? Like, how much have you pulled in? And he is rubbing it in Puffy's face, period. He's rubbing it in Puffy's face. Puffy ain't got nothing but time in prison. See, there's only so many things you can do while you're in prison to kind of eat up your thoughts. But at the end of the day and at the end of the night, when they say lights off, this has to be eating him up. You left it on the table. You became sloppy about your business deals. A man that is very, very careful about how he's looked at in his brand. I cannot believe you freaking left it on the table. And 50 came. And he took it and he ran with it. And he's generating a lot of freaking money from it. You know what? 50 talked about it today. Oh my God, y'all, this is so deep. He talked about, he's had several phone calls with Puffy's sons. They were concerned about how the story would be portrayed and how their father would, how it would come across. They even thought about appearing in the documentary themselves. You should have done it. It would have balanced it out. See, I know there's a lot of pride. It's almost like the East Coast versus the West Coast, but it's not, but it is, but it's not, right? When it comes to Puffy and 50. If I were one of the sons, Puffy, you should have given them the green light, at least one of them. It would have balanced it out a little bit, and you still would have made a little bit of money from it. Your sons would have still gotten a check from it. It still would have had your imprint on it somewhat, because it's hard for people to hate you when they are in front of you. And the reason why I say I would have given you that strategy, let your sons go. Because 50 cents, it would have gotten in his mind a little bit. Let me not raw dog this too hard because his kids are here. Y'all, it is hard for somebody to hate you when they're in front of you. It's easy for them to talk cash money shit. It's easy for them to pull the trigger, not literally, but you know what I'm figuratively when you're not around. It's easy for them to go low when you're not around. But if one of his sons would have been featured in the documentary, it would have caused 50 to at least have to pause. It's human nature. It would have been the best strategy. But I don't know if the numbers weren't right. I don't know if it was ego, but I would have told one of my sons, yes. But I get it. Most men don't think that way. Hell no, you're not going to go in that. You should have let him, because it would have took some of the bite off, because nothing in this documentary is in your favor. And the only one that spoke in his favor is Kalina, and they put her first, because people don't remember how you start. They remember how you finish. And I got to say it again. Brilliant, brilliant work to 50 cents. You got people that like you. Kalina's the only one that has something nice to say about you. That's cool. Let's put her first. Because by the time I'm done with you, nobody's going to remember her anyway. She went first. They're going to remember the lasting impression that I leave them with. Y'all. Yes, Mary. Mary says, wow, his sons would have been tugging at the heart. Yes, not directly, but indirectly. It would have caused him to have to think twice about how he wanted to swing this thing. See, the fact that his sons bowed out, now there's no level of accountability. 50 Cent did not put his baby mama in the documentary because of his son that she had. It's not because of his love for her. It's because of his love for his son. And if Diddy's sons would have shown up, he would have had to pause in that same manner. Y'all, man, oh man, oh man. We're going to get into it. This is deep. I'm going to break it down. Let me see. I don't know if I want to start with 50 and what he's been doing on social media, but he is making his rounds in the press. And I'm going to say it. I'm not like one of those girls that get into the rap beefs, or I have a favorite, or I'm even rooting for one or the other. But 50 is doing his damn thing, and the public is loving him right now. Don't ask me how, child, because 50 Cent is a nuisance. He's a menace to society. Both are the same to me, okay? But he understands the assignment. He's suited up. He's booted up. And he's playing the part. Y'all, let's take a look. Here we go. Let's take a look. Let me know when you can see my, give me a 1 in the chat. I thought y'all could see my screen. When you can see my screen. Here we go. Looks like y'all still can't see it? Here we go.
50. I want to congratulate you on your docuseries, Sean Combs, The Reckoning. It's number one on Netflix.
Yeah.
Like, it's been number one on Netflix. Now, because this is a lot of the personal footage of Diddy. It shocked a lot of people. And I know, 50, the way you run, this cannot be all that you have. Is there other stuff that you just have not shown?
Yeah, well, everything couldn't make the. It was 4 episodes.
Right.
So it was a lot. You had to pick and choose things. Like even in an area where he chooses to date people who he knows previously dated someone. He has a baby by a woman that was dating Tupac.
Wow.
To add to it, but we had to cut it down so he couldn't.
For time.
Yeah.
So are you coming out? I know next year is going to be a number 2. Season 2?
I just put it on YouTube.
I just put it on YouTube. Well, we can subscribe and get it. I love it. And with everything that was out and all of these people that were coming forward, have there been any new tips that you've gotten since it has been released?
Well, yeah, everyone starts to feel a little more comfortable when they see other people telling their truth about it.
Yeah. So it's got to be something on YouTube coming.
Yeah.
I know. 50. I want to congratulate you on your.
Wow. Listen to what she says. I want to congratulate you on your documentary, and then I'm going to pause it after that. Let's one more time. Just listen closely.
50. I want to congratulate you on your docuseries, Sean Combs, The Reckoning.
That is crazy. I want to congratulate you on your docuseries, Sean Combs. Oh, y'all, that's like somebody congratulating me on my docuseries called Inez Martin. That's like somebody congratulating me on my docuseries called what? Linda Gamble. EBT accepted. Ophelia Burkhalter. When I buy the rights to your story. It reminds me of the story that Candy Burris told when she teared up that Carlos King was attempting to buy her life story. This is what she meant. Exactly what we see right here, right now on the screen. Does that put it in real time for you now? That's a low down, dirty move. But that's what you get when you mess with a water sign. They will buy your life. They will buy your name. They will buy your life story. They will hit you where it hurts so that every time you wake up, your life doesn't even belong to you. Does it hit home now? Aisha says, man, this is life for real, for real. I want to congratulate you on your newest project, your docu-series, Sean Diddy Combs. We can log off now. That's it. That's all. That's episode 1. And every time you look at this docu-series, whether you're on episode 1, 2, 3, or 4, remember, 50 Cent owns it. He owns it. I don't know what else to say.
I think he's going to actually like the project. He's going to see that it was done fair, the perspective. Because he's going to see too many people or he'll be consumed by what his personal experience with each individual that's saying things about him because he lived these things. I think he's going to actually like.
Oh, I ain't going to even lie. This is a cold, legitimate business move. Checkmate. And they're asking him in this recent interview that he did with Us Weekly, how do you think Sean Combs is going to feel when he sees this? He says he's going to feel that I did a fair job because this is his life. I am mirroring his life right before him. I'm not lying. The people that he's dealt with are telling him and recanting back to him their experience with him. Y'all, I don't think you understand the gravity, the impact of it. And don't let 50 fool you. He is suited up. He looks very nice, but he's a very dangerous man, just like Puffy is. And anytime Puffy is feeling froggy and he wants to jump, I do believe 50 is ready to jump. I do believe that 50 sent a very sinister message by talking with his kids, rolling out the red carpet. I think that's a message that anytime I want, I can touch them because they came to me for a business opportunity. Y'all, do you understand what's happening here in real time? Just like you were close to my son and you said he liked you and he hugged you and he loved you. I had access to yours. Yours are men. Mine is a little boy. I know you can't touch mine right now, but I can touch yours. How you want to do it? That's what I perceive it to be. That's what I perceive it to be. Don't let the smooth taste fool you. We can go whenever you're ready. You gonna keep my son name out of your mouth one way or their other. That's it. That's all. If you understand the streets, 50 purposely, I'm gonna see if I can play it, purposely mentioned in one of his interviews, oh, I've talked to his sons on the regular. Now, why would he be able to talk to Diddy's sons on the regular? Because they have no covering while their father is in prison. They have no covering. And that's why the Bible says you should train a child in the way that they should go. So when they depart from thee, see, now you are departed from thee. And because you haven't implemented, you were high, Diddy. You were high out of your mind for over 20 years. There is no way you could have provided a solid foundation for your children because you were too busy doing freak offs. Hold on, y'all. Don't get mad at me. Let me talk. Okay. I know we got people in here from Twitter. It's just the principality of it, Smokey. That's all I'm saying. Before we even get into it, let's talk about how a man like 50 Cent can get next to grown sons of Diddy when they know that is their father's ops because you failed them royally. You were supposed to teach them never trust anyone, even the person with a smile on their face. An op is an op is an op. You never meet up with them. You never agree to shake their hands. Even when you think it's in my best interest, son, you always keep your head on a swivel because a man like that will always take his shot. And so when he's talking about talking to y'all in an interview, that's not a kind gesture. That's a warning. He's letting me know you had access to my sons. I have access to yours. And I am so street savvy and I'm so street smart. I'm going to talk about the opportunity so that both you and I know. It cannot be tracked by the FBI, law enforcement. It is not considered a threat. It's just me sharing my experience. That's it. That's all. What are your thoughts? That's it. That's all. It's a hell of a game to play. Who's right? Who's wrong? I don't know. Watch this. Watch this. I'm finna send it. Here we go. All right, here we go.
You know, the easiest way to sneak up on your enemies is to make them think that they already won. Sneak attack.
I get it. Gotta be one move ahead.
Nah, son, you gotta be 3 moves ahead. Checkmate.
Them a job. I'll talk to him. I'll get him very comfortable. Dad, he's not so bad. He was open. He was kind. He seemed like he was flexible. And that's on you, Diddy. Because now they have no protection. They have no guidance. He's 50 Sons still has him. Yours don't have you. That's it. That's all. Let's get into it. Are y'all ready? All right. So we're going to break Oh, man, I was just talking. What part did y'all last hear? I said it's chess, not checkers. Okay, that's it. That's all. There is so much here to unpack. I had to really watch and hone in episode 1. And when I tell you this shit is good, it's good. But there's so many different parts you can focus on. You can focus on the brilliance of it all. Still evil, yet brilliant. You can focus on the revenge of it all. You can focus on the documentary of it all. But he executed, and he executed well. So this is what we're going to do. We're just going to break it down, okay? And we're going to start episode 1. The episode starts off September 10th, 2024 at the Park Hyatt Hotel in New York City. Diddy's on the phone with his lead defense attorney, Mark Agnifilo. Mark has no idea while they're discussing legal strategy. In this moment, he's being recorded. He has no idea that Diddy hired a professional videographer to document his journey. So let's think about it like this. Mark gave out free legal classes without his authorization. When you think about up and coming attorneys, when you think about people that are inexperienced, when you think about Mark Agnifilo going up against some of the lead prosecutors, some of the toughest governments, whatever, now they're listening to his strategy. Now they understand how his mind works. And they were invited in without his permission. Diddy, although wanting to document his own journey, exposed a lifetime of learning that Mark paid for by sweat equity, experience that can be taught. He put it right there for the wolves to eat. If this was, and I described it this way last night, I said it's intellectual rape. Man, you allowed my enemies to witness me in the most vulnerable position without my permission. You taped me. You put it up on your big screen. And even though you didn't do it and 50 Cent did it, you still did it. And it's because of your actions. And you didn't notify me. You didn't allow me to choose if this was the route I wanted to go. I could have simply hung up and called you later, but you chose for me. And as a result, I wouldn't be shocked if years from now, depending on the statutes of limitations, depending on how Mark is feeling, if he doesn't come back to sue Diddy. Because see, well, why would he do that, Queen Sheba? Because he knows where all the bones are buried. He knows where the money is. The defense attorney is your closest ally in cases like this. They know where the money is hidden. They know what's in your mama's name. They know what's overseas. They know how they're getting paid. They know what method and what communication pay form you use. Listen. And you want to fuck me over? Okay. You took something from me. You took my dignity. You took my right to choose. So don't be surprised. I'm waiting. And I know it got Mark off of his game because he missed a day in court with Luigi Mangione. And they're going to start proceedings tomorrow. I know it fucked with Mark mentally. It got him off a little bit. He had to step back, and they're going to resume the proceedings tomorrow. He took a big hit. And people are people. You guys have got to stop taking things that don't belong to you and expect everybody to be happy-go-lucky. I don't know how this is going to play out, but I'm going to be in the background watching, okay? Mark had no idea in that moment that he was being recorded. Diddy was speaking to Mark because he wasn't happy. Okay. When they started off the scene, he wasn't happy with the legal strategy because he felt like, listen, my public persona is taking a hit. I'm not cool with that. I'm paraphrasing. One of Diddy's other primary concerns in this phone call is he doesn't want just a guilty verdict. He said, I don't want a guilty verdict. I want to be able to return to a life that I can live comfortably. Not only do I want you to clear up this mess legally, I want you to make sure that I'm good forever. And that's when I was like, oh, hell no. See, now you done lost your damn mind, right? I ain't taking sides. I'm just giving you the documentary and me reacting to this. This is a reaction video. So I was like, oh, hell no, shit. You got it completely twisted because here's the thing. Diddy believe that when he's found not guilty, he wants to return to a crystal clean life. Here's where it got complicated for me as I'm tuned in watching the documentary. I'm like, that is not Mark's job. That is not the defense's job. That is the job of the who? The PR person. The PR person is supposed to be working in conjunction with the legal team to make sure that when the legal team scores you a home run, that the PR team, is like a clean sweep. They're coming through, fixing shit on social media. Are you crazy? That is not Mark's job. But I'm listening to this conversation and I'm like, oh, hell no. That's the job of the PR person. And I feel like your PR team could have done a better job of assisting you because you're paying them. They're supposed to leave no stone unturned. Your PR job could have done a better job of assisting you with your public persona. However, if the truth be told, let me just keep it real. In my opinion, they did not align themselves with the right people at your trial. Let's get into it. Can I cook or can I cook? Let's get into it. And that's why I like being an independent blogger, because I don't have to kiss ass, because I'm not trying to penetrate or get into nobody's camp, so I can say what I say and stand on business and still hold my head up high, because I'm not trying to sit with you. I'm not trying to eat at your table. I'm okay with the sandwiches and the bologna that I have over here in my home. Okay. So let's talk about this Diddy trial. Your PR team could have done a better job. They chose people that they perceived to be the most popular, but that didn't necessarily possess a well-rounded influence in the market. They were going after numbers and not quality and substance. Hear me out, y'all. Whether you like Diddy or not, let's just talk about what was happening in that phone call and what he wanted Mark to fix. That was not Mark's job. So, whether you like Diddy or not, we're just talking about his legal strategy and what the defense did versus what the PR team did not do. And I don't think people understand. I don't even think celebrities understand, or Diddy understood in this moment, that your PR team should not be acting as if they are the celebrity. See, and that's what happened when you break the law. When you break the law and there's no one there to enforce, hey, listen, you're not Diddy. We work for Diddy. In my opinion, your PR was walking around like they were Diddy. Now, that's a conflict of interest, in my opinion, but I keep my mouth closed. I just watch, because you shouldn't be turning your nose up to anybody that's in a position to help you. Small blogger, big blogger, yellow, white, fat, skinny, brown, man, woman, or child. PR teams should show themselves friendly. They should show themselves approachable to everybody. You're not the star, you're the help. And I don't think your team did a good job of that at the trial. And it's important to have people plugged in the right places that are grounded. People that understand, wait a minute, this is not my life. This is his life. I'm not the star. I'm not the leading lady. I'm not the leading man. I am here to get shit done. And me standing in the corner with my arms folded, looking down at different bloggers, is not getting shit done. Next time, get you some people who are not interested in taking the lead or having the star role. That's my opinion. If you were to call me and ask me for my advice, you need some worker bees, people that are happy to work. You don't need people trying to be the queen bee. They have to understand you're the queen or you're the king. They're there to do a job. They understand it. They're going to put a smile on their face. They're going to work that crowd, and they're going to identify the best fit. Because they say you were looking. On that phone call, you were basically telling Mark, I need you to plug yourself on Instagram. You're over here with the white people on CNN. I knew what he was saying. You over here with the elites. But the elites are not the people that are going to sit on the jury. I need you to be with the common folk. But here's the problem. You cannot reprimand Mark when your PR team is acting like that too. So it's almost like you should be calling a meeting and right-sizing your team, because they didn't get shit done that you needed done for you, in my opinion. But okay, so let's get back to this Netflix. So the call that we are witnessing on this episode, it's an emergency call that Diddy initiated, okay? And Mark Agnifilo is laying down, well, he's sharing his legal strategy under the notion that, listen, he thinks he's talking to Diddy. alone. He has no idea that several people are listening into this call. And so he's telling Diddy, listen, the theme that I'm working with or that I'm leading with is that you didn't do anything wrong. Y'all try not to mention other content creators in the chat because we don't want it to be perceived in any way. So let's not do that, because once we mention it, we can't control their perception of it. So let's yeah. I'm gonna delete this. I'm gonna delete this comment because we don't even want, even if it's a compliment, let's not do it because we can't control how people perceive their name being mentioned. So let's continue, okay? So Mark is saying, listen, you don't understand. The theme that I'm working with, I'm going in the angle that you didn't do anything wrong. I'm going to go. My thing is, I'm trying to show to the public that you came to New York on your own accord. It shows a level of accountability. It shows your willingness to face things head on. Diddy said, nah, enough is enough. I've tried that. I'm not comfortable with that strategy, and I don't feel like enough ground is being made with that strategy. I've listened to you, so you gonna listen to me. I'm giving you time, but I'm not happy with the outcome in real time. Social media is kicking my ass. They eat me up on Instagram. They're eating me up in places that you're not plugged into. And then he told Mark, wait a minute, because I did everything you asked me to. You told me to come to New York. I flew to New York. And I was like, oh, hell no. I don't think Mark wanted the judge to know that. I don't think Mark wanted the government to know that. The lead prosecutors, the FBI. Oh, Lord, this should have never seen the light of day, because now we know it wasn't your idea. Now we know you didn't come in for accountability. You were forced to. And I was like, Diddy, why would you roll the camera? Why did you not pay that videographer? Are you crazy? And I was like, checkmate. Everybody getting exposed in this instance. So Diddy start naming off things that wasn't his idea, and it actually didn't help him to be combative with Mark. It hurted him, because here the entire time we only know what we know in the public and what we're hearing from the news. So although Diddy was pushing back about Mark not being plugged into the right places, the source that I was getting my information from was the news. I was like, oh, he's flying to New York on his own. I'm listening to the news. Only for us to find out you were not willing to do any of that. I was like, damn, you messing up your own reputation with this documentary and this footage. And Diddy said, you yourself said that I'm a superb client, but nothing is happening for me. Nothing is happening fast enough. There's no movement. And I feel like I'm being held in suspension. So in this moment, Diddy's not happy. He's frustrated. He doesn't like Mark's communication strategy. Watch this. Mark is doing his job from a legal standpoint. But it seemed like Diddy, and what I perceived to be happening on that call, it seems like Diddy wanted Mark to operate outside of his scope of work, and wanted him to also be like this communications campaign manager. That's not his job, sir. Mark is focused on the bigger picture on the legal side, and Diddy was focused on the bigger picture on the social side. So you have two men. One is focused on one thing. The other one is focused on what they are an expert at. Mark is saying, listen, I got this. You got to trust me. And the most important thing is that you have not been indicted. We're in the middle of September. I'm doing my job. I've kept you out of jail. He didn't say it that way. He's saying it in his nice way. Man, you still free. And even though you don't want to be pinned up or holed up in a hotel, it's better than a jail cell. You can still get room service. You can still have a glass of wine. And Diddy said, I get that, but public opinion and the public scrutiny on social media is eating my ass up. I don't like it and I want you to fix it. And let me re-emphasize again and again and again, what Diddy was asking Mark for in that phone call is not Mark's job. It is not his job. Diddy, if they let you watch YouTube in jail, that wasn't his job. You was out of line. That is the job of your PR team. Your expectations of your legal defense team was unrealistic in that moment. His job is to defend you in the court of law. His job is not to be a spokesperson to overcome public opinion on Instagram. Come on. It's almost like an insult. This is a brainiac. He's representing Luigi Mangione, who could get a death penalty for being accused of assassinating a healthcare CEO. And you want him to run an Instagram and put a few posts? Y'all, make it make sense. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you asking this high profile attorney to go to Instagram and make it right? Somebody tell me I'm wrong. I was like, oh my God, did anybody else catch this? Right. So I'm listening to this phone call. They're going back and forth. And then I was like, that's not his job, although it's a valid concern. Now, I have to give Diddy just a little bit of fairness. I said, listen, that is a valid concern because you feel like where you plugged in and where you play is on Instagram and TikTok and all of that. I understand that. And I was like, that's a valid concern, right? As a client. But again, you gotta talk to your PR team about that. They are the people that you pay to come up with how to do damage control. That's their job. Diddy's looking for a media beast. He said, I'm looking for somebody that can get down and dirty. Mark don't specialize in media and communications. Y'all, who does that? Say it again, because I'm tired of saying it. It sounds like you have people sitting on your payroll riding the clock, sir. So Diddy's very upset with Mark in this phone call. And that he says, listen, I'm taking nuclear bombs. I've taken 8 bombs. Mark's like, that's not true. They're going back and forth. And I don't know. Diddy gets frustrated. He ends the call. He says, I'm not going back and forth with you. Get things done now. I'll talk to you later. And that's all we heard in that first phone call, right? So after that, the camera does a B-roll and they introduce this clip where they go all the way back to the 90s. Watch this. They go all the way back to the 90s and they have Diddy on record. He's going on record to say how the media have attempted to portray him as a shrewd businessman, a gangster, cold-hearted. And he says, I'm none of that in this interview in the 90s. He says, I'm none of that. I'm a dreamer. I'm somebody who closes his eyes and I dream. Y'all listen to this. The first thing that came to my head, I listened. I said, oh, he said he's a dreamer. I close my eyes and I dream. And I said, wait a minute. That sounds like somebody who wants to escape reality. Let me tell you a little bit about me. For those of you who are just tuned in or if you're new to the channel, welcome to the palace. I'm Queen Sheba. I cover a variety of hot topics specific to reality television. But most importantly, I hone in on the psychological and the behavioral traits of the Black experience. So immediately my psychology background kicks in. I said, wait a minute, that sounds like somebody who's attempting to escape reality. And just like that, he fills in the blanks and he says, I don't deal with reality. And I said, damn, gotcha. At a young age, he says, I'm none of that. I'm a dreamer. I close my eyes and I dream. I don't deal with reality. And that's when I said, oh, hell no. I ran to my phone. I made a note. I said, Mama Combs, I need you to come to the front. Now, this is the part of the documentary in my brain. I don't know about these people that are tuned in, where you come in. I got a lot of questions for you, Mama Combs, in the most respectful manner. As a grown man, your son is on record stating that he cannot deal with reality. He does not have the coping skills to be able to deal with real life. And I have to come back to you as the source and as the foundation and ask you why. How was your son raised that now as an adult, he does not have the capacity to deal with reality? And the way he describes it is, I close my eyes and I dream. And it reminds me of that song back in the 80s that Christopher Williams sung. It's called Don't Wake Me, I'm Dreaming. Y'all remember it? Don't wake me, I'm dreaming. He says, if I'm dreaming, just let me sleep. Don't wake me up until my dream is complete. I was like, oh, damn. Don't wake me. I'm dreaming. And that's the life I feel like that Puff, Sean Combs, has fortified all of his life. He's created this world around him where he does not have to face reality. It is a dream. It is a fantasy world. If I want to have sex, I can have sex 4 or 5 days at a time. If I want this and snap my fingers, you have to bring it to me. It sounds like a fairy tale that at midnight, my old nasty shoe turns into a glass slipper. I go from being the ugly frog to the king of the land. Don't wake me. I'm dreaming. And he's been able to have the money and the power to create a dream world. It's a fantasy world. Juror number 15 described, I think it was juror number 15 described it as he had a hard time seeing Cassie as a victim because he says you can't have the luxury. What is the luxury? The dream, and complain about it. Are y'all ready? Am I a little bit too deep? And it all started to make sense to me. And I said, Mama Combs, I'm sorry. This is a problem that you created. Then they really get into the episode. They put up on the screen the day he went to jail. And they said the day he went to jail, actually, I think it was the day after he was arrested, he left an unpaid bar tab. Wait, what you mean he left an unpaid bar tab? He didn't pay his tab at the bar. By way of the videographer. You walked out of the bar, you didn't pay your tab. And as a result, the footage was sold to 50 cents. And that's how this project came to be today, right now. #2 on Netflix worldwide, #1 in the United States of America, all because you decided to skip your tab. Does anyone know how much the tab was on this video? Has the videographer ever came out to say, I guessed, and maybe my guess is high. I said at least 100,000. And maybe, does anybody know, has the videographer leaked the amount that Diddy left on his tab? I sure would like to know. So then after the phone call, they get into Kalina Harper. I'm telling you why I think they started with her first. Kalina Harper, although, see, here's the thing about fame. Kalina Harper participated in a Netflix docuseries, and maybe she fooled herself to say, I'm Team Diddy, I'm Team Diddy, I'm Team Diddy. She was the only one there that had something nice to say about him. But let me tell you something. It was in vain. It's not going to be remembered. 50 Cent playing with you, girl. He's playing with you. He played on your need to be famous. He played on your need to talk, to be recognized. If I were Kalina, I probably would not have gone. But if I were Diddy's sons, I would have gone. Do you understand the difference? As a woman, it does you no justice to step up and say anything nice if there's no other women on that show that's speaking to the beauty of whom he is. It just does nothing for you. It doesn't make sense. I don't know who your manager is, your PR person. I would have told you, sit your ass down somewhere. I don't give a damn if 50 Cent is giving you a little bit of clout or giving you $5,000. Sit your black ass down. The hell you talking about? You finna go run your mouth on a damn mouth. You heard me, mouth. You finna go run your damn mouth on a documentary just because you want to be synced on television. Girl, if you don't sit your ass down before I knock you into next week, no, ma'am, not today. Because what it's going to do is going to ruin you as a woman. Other women are going to look like look at you and not want to sit next to your ass. Girl, now is not the time. Do you hear me? Because Diddy ain't gonna give you nothing for this. And anything you've gotten from 50, that's it. That's all. There is no reward for being the top cheerleader in enemy territory. Sit down. So they started off with her. And I understood the strategy because it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And that's why 50 Cent put Kalina Harper up first. He let her have her say. He let her come in and windmill because ain't nobody going to remember her. And that's why you should not have gone. Kalina said, listen, he's an asshole. He's a jerk. He's a motherfucker. Okay? You're not going to like him if he doesn't get his way with you. And I thought about it. I said, okay, she's right. And here's the thing about it. People know this about Diddy, but yet they flock to him. Men and women. I don't care how much y'all say, he's a dark, he's this, he's that. It doesn't matter. It's a line wrapped around the building, waiting to get in. So she said, you're going to have to bow down. But then she presented differently than most people in the documentary. She's the only one. She said, he's my hero. If you ever get the opportunity to meet him, his energy is the most beautiful experience. I'm paraphrasing. His energy is everything, she said. She said, it motivates you. It compels you to be your best. I wanted to be my best self around him. His energy is everything. She said, he presents a freedom that most Black people only dream about. Don't wake me, I'm dreaming. Just let me sleep. Don't wake me up until my dream is complete. She was in the dream. She was caught up in the matrix. He made her feel alive. He made her feel free. He made her feel like she was on her way. He brought out the best in her, according to her. The studio, the opportunity with Don, that was the best freedom she's ever experienced in her entire life. She said, his freedom, his leadership was attractive. And she, as a woman, wanted to be just like him. That's what she said. I wanted to become just like him. Go back and watch it. I can't make it up. Fact check me. So then they get to Eric's sermon. And he described Diddy as a man with everything. He said he was a man with everything. He conquered things that the average man, the most successful man, the rich man would want. But everything wasn't good enough because he wanted the world. He had everything, but everything wasn't good enough because he wanted to conquer the world. And then that made me think back to being in the trial in the courtroom. I said, oh my God, this is crazy. And now I understand why the director of this project, I forgot her name. We talked about her yesterday when she said, listen, this is not a hip hop documentary that we're detailing from the outside looking in. We are in. This is the inner circle. So it made me think about a moment in the courthouse that coincided, right, with an exhibit that was entered into the court as evidence. At one point in the trial, when Diddy was doing his business with DeLeon, he changed the name of his business from Combs Enterprise to Combs Global Enterprise. And to hear Eric say he had everything, but everything wasn't enough. He wanted to conquer the world. When you think about global is worldwide. I was like, oh my God, that's a common theme. Sean Combs changed a business name from Combs Enterprise to Combs Global Enterprise because he wanted more market expansion. He didn't want to just be national. He wanted to be global. Is that against the law? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. He wanted his footprint. He wanted his presence to be featured in international territory. And I was like, damn, whoa. And that's why I'm giving you a technical side of this documentary so you can walk away from this motherfucker tonight understanding was really being put in front of you from a psychological angle. 50 Cent is brilliant, but it's up to you to pick up what he's putting down. He doesn't make it completely obvious, because then you start to get into the hairs of defamation. And that's why people have to speak and utilize their own words from their experience. And it hit smacked dead on to what was being presented in that courtroom. I don't think it's anything wrong with wanting global expansion, a global footprint, global territory, global share. But the reason why I said it's genius on the side of 50 cents, because it aligns with every. I was like, damn. Watch this. The collective theme throughout the documentary in episode 1, most of them, if not all of them, said Sean Diddy Combs is the 1%. When you think about the 1% versus the 99%, who's the 99%? You, me, and everybody here. He is the 1%. Oprah is the 1%. You get it? He's an evil genius. They described him as a hip hop storyteller. I think that was Capricorn Clark. She said he's a storyteller, one of the best storytellers in hip hop. He's Superman. But being Superman comes with the price, because he takes what he wants when he wants, according to this documentary and the people that are detailing their experiences with him. So then the co-founder of Bad Boy, Kirk Burrows, he said that they started at the label way back in the day. And according to him, Sean was a different person back in the day. And I said, Kirk, of course he was a different person, because you said that he was 19. He was a dropout from Howard. He was 19. He's going to be different. We're supposed to change. So I don't know if I want to just go off of that, because I don't expect him to be the same from 19 to 50. Okay. So I don't know if that was like something I can build on, because everybody changes, right? But Diddy dropped out of Howard University. And according to Kirk, he said it's because Diddy wanted to be in the flashy music industry. And I said, okay, I'm listening. Well, I don't put that on Diddy. I put that on you, Mama Combs, because you propped him up like that as a child. You dressed him up. You adorned him in some of the finest clothes, and you put him on the shelf. Actually, you put him in the window. And it reminds me of the song that I sing to my dogs. When I want to play with my dogs, I always say, how much is that doggy in the window? Who, me? And they just run around the house and wag their tails. You propped him up as that doggy in the window. How much is that doggy in the window? You put him on the best clothes. You made sure that from the outside, he was good. But it sounds like on the inside, there was turmoil. So again, how much is that doggy in the window? Who, me? You propped him up in suits. You propped him up in flashy clothes. You put him on the shelf for everybody to admire him as the doggy in the window. So that's the ideology that you conditioned him with. You handed that to him as a little boy. And then Kirk began to talk more. And here's what I heard Kirk say. He said, Sean had charisma. His work ethic was unmatched. He was smart. He was innovative. He was creative. But what he did not have was star appeal. What he did not have was the aesthetics that can get you into Hollywood, that'll put you on stage front and center. And I understood what Kirk was saying. He was saying, you don't have the look. I don't care how much your mama dressed you up. I don't care how many private schools you went to. You just didn't have that look. And I'm not being shady, right? He said, so that's why he didn't get his breakthrough the way that many kids or star children will get it. He didn't have the look. Hollywood's not looking for your kind. Are y'all picking up what I'm putting down? So Kirk goes on, and he named Uptown Records as one of the leading labels to breathe life into hip hop during that time. He said they signed Heavy D, they had Al B. Sure, and then you had also during that time, you had Run DMC, you had Public Enemy, KRS-One, Heavy D, I said that out of the Bronx. And he said Heavy D put the Bronx on the map, period. And he said Sean Combs grew up a bit different than the average black boy from New York, because Sean Combs wanted a piece of the street life. He wanted a piece of the pie of the niggas from the Bronx, but your mama putting you in fur coats. Your mama putting you on penny loafers, and that's not what they do in the Bronx. So he said, and I thought this was good. He said Sean grew up, he attended a private Catholic school. And then when they put the photo of Sean at Catholic school, he was one of the few black boys in the photo. And this is huge, right? Because during that time when Sean Combs grew up, he was born in 1969. If you thought about how expensive Catholic school is, I said, wait a minute now, because at some point, Miss Janice made a sacrifice to make sure he had access to the best education. And she protected him somewhat from the streets by putting him in the same room as the elites. Follow me very closely. So yesterday, when we talked about the psychology and the similarities between 50 Cent and Diddy, we talked about the psychological traits. And although they both are the same, they're different individuals, right? And one of the differentiations between Diddy and 50 Cent is 50 is street. So he had to hustle his way into success. But Diddy came from a more diversified background because of his education. So he had a head start. That's why he can get in front of the Clive Davises. 50 had to create his own pathway. Diddy just had to talk his way into the room with the elites. Y'all get it? Because his mom exposed him to those type of people from an early age. Okay. All right. Diddy was persistent. They said, listen, he used to knock on Heavy D's door every day and say, take me to meet Andre. Take me to meet Andre. Back then, there was only two ways you can get into hip hop, either by way of Russell Simmons or Andre Harrell. And Diddy wanted to go the Andre Harrell route, okay? Those were the two entryways into the hip hop world. And after meeting Andre, Sean Diddy Combs pressed him into giving him an internship. So then they skipped the documentary to Kim and Al B. Sure. Both Kim and Al B. Sure were employees at Uptown. Let me say it again. They were employees. Kim was the receptionist. Al B. Sure was an artist, still employees. They said Diddy was just like a little intern, but when he laid eyes on Kim Porter, he decided he wanted her, and he didn't give a damn that she was dating Al B. Sure. He was disrespectful in the most beautiful way. He wanted to take her out. He didn't care whose girl she was. Anything that he wanted, he was persistent until he got it. But Al B. Sure, see, here's where y'all go wrong. And we talk all the time over here. Al B. Sure thought because Diddy wouldn't high yella and a pretty boy that it was no way he could pull Kim. Wrong. He did. He did. Al didn't take him serious. Al didn't think he was competition. Goofy nigga, intern. Nah, ain't no way. Well, they've had 3 kids. Okay. They described Diddy as not a catch. He was shooting his shot. They was basically saying he wasn't a looker, so Al didn't think he had anything to worry about. And I feel like you underestimated him and he embarrassed you. They said Diddy watched Andre. He watched Heavy D, and he decided, and he told everybody, I want to be just like them. He sat back in the corner. He watched. He imitated their actions. He imitated the way they dressed, the way they talked, the way they carried himself. Their swag became his swag. And I can see that happening. And the more they described him, and I said, you know what? I'm not going to give him a deficit for that, because he never had a chance to form his own identity, because Mama Combs, you created his swag for him. You dressed him as a young boy. You told him what he was going to wear. You put him in fur coats. and fedoras. So he never had an opportunity to just kind of burst out the seams and decide who he wanted to be. So I can see him all up in the video. I can see how people can say he's not really the one with the talent. He mimics those that are talented. I always go back to the foundation, and that's the parents. Yeah, that's the parents. So they bring Andre Harrell, and I don't know how they got this footage, but one of the footages that they put on the screen, Andre Harrell was describing Diddy, and he said Diddy's for, watch this, he mimics, didn't I just say he mimics? So Andre, they come on camera, and he's saying how he really started to watch Diddy because his first assignment was to take a videotape, maybe uptown, a total of 20 blocks, 10 blocks one way, 10 blocks back. He said Diddy did it so fast when he came back. He's like, whoa, how did you do that so quickly? And Diddy said, I ran there and I ran back. Y'all, you don't remember the making of the band? When he made them go get cheesecake? He was mimicking. You don't remember? Now does it make sense now why he would expect them to not care, to say if you want it bad enough, but he never told them the why. Nobody ever knew that he did it. That's all I'm saying. And I said, oh shit. Oh, excuse my language. I was like, oh shit. Oh my God. He is mimicking throughout his life. There's no, and I want to make sure that I'm not too judgy. Are any of the ideas or scenarios that we've witnessed over the years authentic, genuinely your own? Or do they go back to someone else who's the originator of that concept? Okay. I'm only speaking based on this documentary. And I was like, oh crap, he recreated the same scenario with the Junior's cheesecake situation. So here we go. After that, they say he ingratiated himself to Andre. Let me tell you something. Y'all, I'm going to lose some of y'all on this. You do not understand what he's doing in this moment. It's right. Exactly what he did. And a lot of Black folks are not taught this. And because this is a rule by the 1%. He ingratiated himself to Andre. Diddy understood the art of power. When you are around powerful people, watch this, you make yourself useful. That's going to go over some of your heads. Hold on, I ain't kissing nobody's ass. No, when you are around powerful people, you make yourself useful. Save them time. Think for them. Outsmart them. Be 3, 4, 5, 6 steps ahead of them. Anticipate their needs. I'm still losing y'all. I know I am, but I'm going to make it make sense. So if I'm around powerful people, my goal is to make myself valuable. If you want to be next to them, yeah, you can't walk in looking for handouts. You can't be one of the posse. You can't be one of the niggas looking for your tab to get paid. How do I make myself useful? That's your job to figure out. Diddy figured it out. And that is a rule in the 1%. You can save them time. You can anticipate their needs. And then it reminded me of the color purple. Remember how Mr. hated Miss Seeley? And that one time he had like a very important thing and he was running out the house and he forgot his sock and he forgot his tie and he would run back in for his tie and they would show a clip in a scene with her holding up the tie. And then he would run back out and he forgot the sock and he comes back in and she had the sock. She didn't say a word. She just had it. She saved him time. She solved a problem for him. So if you want to be around successful people and you are not there yet, you better know how to save them time and you better know how to solve problems. That's it. That's all. And that's what Diddy did. And that's how he got close and became a partner at A&R Records. That is not manipulation. That is the rule in the 1%. That is an unspoken rule. I just gave y'all something that nobody will ever teach you. Do you understand what I'm saying? Take it and run with it. Watch this. We're gonna get into it. You have to become irreplaceable. You become their right hand, their go-to. He did not the kind like Gene Deal did. And then you get on a microphone and start telling everything. You got almost like KK, but not in a diabolical way. Y'all get what I'm saying? You solve problems for them. You save time for them. You become their go-to. You do what most people won't do, not committing a crime, not allowing anybody to dehumanize you or take your dignity. Hey, can you go get my Starbucks? Oh, Starbucks? I ain't your damn maid. Do you mind picking? Yeah, I got it for you. I'm headed that way anyway. See, most people won't do that. They consider it an insult. He did all of that because he knew that Andre had something that he wanted, okay? And when you are willing to do that, you become irreplaceable. And that's how you work your way up through the ranks. He became a do boy. So a lot of you will see that men and women as a lower position. He didn't, because he understands. Listen, this is a short time. It's almost like Shedeur Sanders, 5th round draft, but now he's a starting quarterback. He had to take that L. I'm Shedeur. I'm walking in here. I have a name for myself. I'm Deion Sanders' son, and they want me to, they pass me up. It's okay. It's okay. But when God give you the ball, you better ball. That's all I'm saying. All right. So that's what he did with Andre. And they said Diddy, all he needed to do was get in a room by any means necessary. And then they shared, wait a minute. Then they shared. So Andre and Diddy moved in together in $1 million mansion. And that's when I was like, oh, hell no, hold up now. 50 Cent, I see your petty coming through, and I know exactly what you're trying to say. And my takeaway with that one point, because they said it real quick and moved on, you were trying to say they were lovers. And I had to pause because I was like, hold on, because that's what it's given. I don't know 2 men at the same job that's going to move in with each other. It don't make no sense to me. Ain't nobody going to believe me that Andre took Diddy in like a son, because you don't have to move him in. That's a grown-ass man. And Andre said, well, he had an imaginary fight with his mom, and he moved in the house before me. That's giving man and woman. I don't know what was happening, but that was my perception of what 50 put in the documentary. I was like, here come that cancer. He's being petty. So anywho, there's a guy that claimed that Janice Combs beat Diddy. He shared that his family rented the lower level of Janice's house. I did not catch his name. And he said Miss Janice taught Diddy that masculinity was flashy. The more flashier you are, that's what being a man is about, because that's how she dressed him up. Flashy. And as a result, he felt like Diddy had a warped sense of what it was to be a man. And he said the difference between him and Diddy is that he had his father who taught him how to be a man, and Diddy had his mother. He didn't have a father around. Janice was the dominating influence in Diddy's life. What do y'all think about that? He said, He believed that being a man is what you wear, what rooms you're in, how many parties you can throw, because that's what he saw his mama do. And his daddy was a flashy man, although a gangster, flashy. So he emulated that lifestyle, but he didn't really have the heart of a man, because he used to get his ass beat by the other boys on the block. So then we learned, they go to this B-roll where Miss Janice, they featured her in the documentary where Diddy, the guy's like, listen, you said that at age 12, you were out to 3 or 4 a.m. in the morning. And then his mama said, and he got a lot of beatings too. Okay. But she came out with an official statement to say, let me clear that up and clarify. I did not abuse my child. So I had to put that in there. The gentleman goes on to describe Diddy's family as being very peculiar. He said Miss Janice drove a Cadillac and that she would drive down to Harlem and make stops and leave the kids in the car. And I said, 50 Cent is brilliant. He's not going to imply anything, but he's going to put it out there. He said she would leave the car running. She would get out So I'm like, okay, I think I know what you're saying, but y'all gonna help me out. Is he saying that Miss Janice was running drugs, or is he saying that some sex work was going on? I know they were saying something, but they made sure not to say it. Because to describe a car with 2 kids in the car, and the car is still running. See, in these days, you get taken to jail. Oh, she was hustling. Okay, gotcha. Allegedly. She was, okay, hustling. Okay. I knew they were trying to insinuate something, but I'm not street. I said, I know you're saying something, but you're leaving it to our imaginations. Okay. Somebody says she was the plug and picking up money from the workers, allegedly. Oh. Mm. Mm. We got a lot of different answers floating around in the chat. So then he started saying, like, Diddy and Miss Janice will be watching a bunch of pimp and hoe movies. Hold on. I gotta go to commercial. It's hilarious. He said Miss Janice will be watching. Y'all, this is funny, but it's crazy. He said Miss Janice would be watching a bunch of pimp and hoe movies. I'm sorry. A bunch of hustler movies. Pimps up, hoes down.
Bruh.
And he said, it's almost like Miss Janice was the dreamer who also couldn't deal with reality and cloned her life after movies. He said, literally, you will watch them in the movie and then watch them play out what was happening in the movies in their lives. He said, just like they would throw lavish parties in the movies, Miss Janice would mimic that. Oh, Lord gosh. And throw lavish parties in real life. There would be pimps, hoes at the parties, celebrities, and athletes. And the same time, Diddy is watching this as a little boy. So he's watching the movies that mama's watching. And then mama recreates what she sees in the movies in her house. And that's the exact same thing that Diddy did with those parties, where people would claim the freak offs, the white parties, right? You have athletes, you got hoes, high price hoes, women that's down for a good time, men that's down for a good time. You got pastors, you got athletes, celebrities, you got all of that. And then I said, damn, he learned it as a little boy. And they played a clip where Sean said he would be out to 3 a.m. I told y'all. And I said, wow. I'm wondering if he became defiant at age 12 or if she had him out at 3 a.m. So then they went to Joy Dickerson, and that's the party video promoter. That's the lady that alleged. I'm gonna say alleged because they have not gone to court. She alleged that Diddy sexually assaulted her and drugged her and did things to her without her permission, videotaped it, and she got a call one day. And she was notified that, listen, you're being displayed on big screens at parties. And this guy is playing what he did to you. She said it was so devastating to her. She had nightmares. She had nightmares. So then they try to explain how she met Diddy. She said Diddy threw a party one time in Andre Harrell's house. See, that's why I feel like 50 Cent was saying or implying that Diddy and Andre Harrell were lovers, because Andre described the rooming situation as, we bought a house. It's our house. But she described it as Andre's house. She said Diddy threw a party at Andre's house while Andre was out of town. People came in, they were tracking in mud. It was a mess, right? She said after the party, she stayed to help clean up the mud. While she was there, she said Diddy was very kind to her. He said, hey, listen, this girl's supposed to be in a video. She's not going to be able to come. Would you like to step in her place. I'm not a video girl, but you know what? I'll do it for you. Now, that's where it kind of got blurry, 50 Cent, and maybe it did because it's still a pending legal matter. They have not gone to court. This is a pending case, and maybe 50 couldn't fill in the blanks, but I'm just tell you, 50, that's kind of one of the areas where it fell flat to a savvy viewer, because although it is a sensitive topic, you still got to give us the full picture. You can't skip over it to make him into a monster. You have to put all of the information on the table, because she was a party goer. And let me be very clear, we are not victim shaming. We just know it hasn't gone to court yet. But what was presented in the documentary is she went to a party, but she didn't leave with the rest of the people. For whatever reason. She said she stayed to help clean up the mud. He was very nice to her. The next day, she went to New York with him from New Jersey to be featured in a video. She still had on the same clothes from the night before. Later on, months, weeks, whatever, she was minding her business and she got a call that people saw her in a very intimate act. She said, I did not give him permission. It was without my consent. That's when I, just as a viewer, I said, wait a minute. Did she spend the night that night with him in Andre's house? Was it consensual sex? Like, I had so many questions, and I don't know why. Here's my thing. I don't think you should present anything without telling the full picture. It doesn't make it right? Because if what she's saying is true and it still hasn't gone to trial, she's saying he filmed me without my permission. And he drugged me and he assaulted me. But me, I'm like, did she agree to stay the night? Did he give her a drink? Like, what happened? How do we get from that house that night to the next day to New York? I know she said she was drugged. Listen, I get that. But it's still, I'm just giving feedback. That was not a solid part in the documentary. I feel like there were holes in it. And I don't know if 50 did it on purpose. I just don't know his angle, because it didn't give us the details of if she was drugged the night before, why would she go to New York the next day? That's the part 50 didn't tell us. Was she still woozy? Did she, like, that's what I'm saying, y'all. It just skipped over that. It left it flat. And I was like, okay, I don't know what's happening here. Okay, you said that's a case pending. Okay, here we go. So then she said her mom wrote a letter to his mom about what he did. In 1992, her mother wrote a letter to confront the Combs family. Her mom must not have known that Diddy's dad was dead, because in 1992, when she claims this happened to her, and I have to say claimed, because, you know, we have to say alleged and claimed. We can't state it as a fact. Otherwise, you can be held liable. When she claimed this happened to her, Diddy was 23, y'all. And the men in the documentary said, allegedly, he was mimicking somebody named Alpo Martinez. Alpo was like this gangster that would videotape women that he was sexually active with and then play it on a big screen. Watch this. I want to point something out to y'all. Alpo Martinez is the person that Diddy was mimicking. Alpo would throw parties of him doing things to girls and then putting it on a big screen in a party. Watch this. Follow me. If a man is showcasing what he's doing to women with or without their knowledge, do you think it's other women in the room watching this? Or is this an all-boy party? Because I can't see a bunch of women in a room watching another woman be sexually assaulted and getting a kick out of it. Are y'all following me? So what kind of party is this? Use your brain when you start. That's why I don't trust men. that when they social media, they don't have no pictures of women. And they claim to be straight. And they claim to be straight. You don't take pictures with no woman. You ain't never dated nobody. The only people you love is men. Angela say nothing can come good from a man named Alpo. Ain't that dog food? Wasn't there a can of dog food called Alpo? I'm just asking.
What the dog doing? What the dog doing?
So yeah, I like to think, I'm like, it ain't no way women are in that room watching that. So this sounds like an underground party for men. Okay. All right. Let's continue. So then they get to the part about this Harlem basketball game, right? Diddy got his big break. He threw this celebrity tournament basketball. Those were big in the 90s and the early 2000s. I'll never forget. They say, how do dogs get in it? Chow Alpo. And at that time, they said the lines were wrapped around the campus. The tickets were $12. The event was sold out. But because Diddy over promoted it, at that point, he was a party promoter. But they said instead of promoting the party, he did more promotion of himself. And he did a really good job that people stampeded their way in. And as a result, a lot of people lost their lives. They were trapped. They were stomped to death. People suffocated. People were crushed to death. Listen, it happened so fast, y'all. The game never got started. They were warming up. And one of the rappers made an announcement. We have to stop. People are dying right now. The game never started. Did y'all pick that up from the documentary? Were you aware of that? I hope you were listening. The game never started. And from there, that's how Puff Daddy became famous. He became famous from people losing their lives. And that has followed him all the way through his trajectory and his evolution. If you go back and watch his rise to fame, whether it's true or not, it's just the title, it's the reputation and the stereotype that has attached itself to him. So watch this. After that, Uptown Records wanted to drop him. They were like, hell no. Hell no, he got to go. He has to get out of here. It's a bad look. It's not good for business. They say Andre Harrell fought to keep him on the team. And they let him stay. After that incident, Puffy went on a press tour to do damage control. And he and his mom were holed up at a hotel, right? Because he had to come and answer for, just because people's lives were lost. He, according to Kirk, he witnessed Miss Janice say, listen, was this a mistake that I let you drop out of college? This isn't good, bloop, bloop, bloop. Apparently Puffy, allegedly, according to the documentary, didn't like the line of questioning that his mom was asking, and he hauled off and slapped her and called her a bitch. He said he watched him physically attack his mother. Now, Andre Harrell, watch this. So Puffy, where am I going with this? He was rewarded for his bad behavior. He was rewarded for his bad behavior. After people died, he got promoted to vice president of Arista Records. Diddy got his chance at fame because he took a rich man out to lunch. And listen, that's one of the key strategies to getting next to power in the 1%. Don't hope that they take you out. You got to take them out. Because what you get in 1 hour will be more than you'll ever get in a lifetime. And many folks look to successful people to pay for their lunch. You pay for theirs. I learned that a long time ago from Jim Rohn. Let's take a look. If you think I'm lying, like my mama used to say, ask me. Here we go. Watch this. This has been a philosophy that has been in place a long time ago. This is nothing new. But it's new to you all if you're not around the right people. There's rules to this, and here we go. Hold on.
Now, here's some of the best advice I've got for the whole evening. Poor people ought to take rich people out to dinner and listen. That's some of the best I got. But you're right. Poor people don't usually take rich people out to dinner. The guy said he's rich, let him buy his own dinner. I'm not coming up with any money. You're lucky to get your own supper, let alone running around trying to find a rich man to feed. And the guy's behind. If a guy's not doing well, one of the first things he ought to do is find a guy that is doing well and offer to buy him his dinner. Spend $50, $60, $80, $100. Go for the full 9 course. If you get a successful person to eat and talk for 2 hours, they're liable to drop ideas in your lap, change your life. Multiply your income by 2, by 3, by 5. But you're right. Poor people don't usually take rich people out to dinner. Now here's...
Y'all, this knowledge has been around since 1981. Watch this. Puffy implemented it in 1992, 1991, 10 years later. This is nothing new. You reading the wrong books. Study Jim Rohn, study Napoleon Hill, study Earl Nightingale. For those of you, you be like, well, no, you got to give up something when you're around. Listen, it's not about kissing ass. It's about rich people rarely, successful, not even rich, successful people rarely ever have anybody do anything nice for them. You want their time? Don't ask them to mentor you. You want their time? Don't ask them for anything. Offer to do something for them. But that's not the way the world works. And that's why they call it the 1% versus the 99%. Because 99% of you will take from them as opposed to how can I make his life better? And that's it. That's all. Puffy, his mother taught him the game. She influenced him, and there's allegations that she abused him, but she taught him the game from a very early age. That's it. That's all. This is not new. This has been around for decades. It's just new to you. It says, Queen, can you put it in the chat or say it again? I'll play it one more time. Here we go. Let me see if I can.
Here's some of the best advice I've got for the whole evening. Poor people ought to take rich people out to dinner and listen. That's some of the best I got. But you're right. Poor people don't usually take rich people out to dinner. The guy said he's rich, let him buy his own dinner. I'm not coming up with any money. You're lucky to get your own supper, let alone running around trying to find a rich man to feed. And the guy's behind. If a guy's not doing well, one of the first things he ought to do is find a guy that is doing well and offer to buy him his dinner. Spend $50, $60, $80, $100. Go for the full 9 course. If you get a successful person to eat and talk for 2 hours, they're liable to drop ideas in your lap, change your life. Multiply your income by 2, by 3, by 5. But you're right. Poor people don't usually take rich people out to dinner.
Period. This is not new information. He repeated it in 1991. But go back to the Bible when the kings made deals, when the kings needed things done, when they needed your vote, they would throw a feast. Businessmen make business decisions over dinner, over steak, over wine. Invite somebody to dinner. If you admire them, it's very rare, and make sure you have the money to foot the bill. Make sure you have the money to foot the bill. If they insist on paying, you say no. And that will be the best 2 hours of your life. You're going to learn a lot that school can't teach you by sitting around a rich person. And by rich, I don't mean money. I mean brilliant, brains, creative, innovative, somebody that you admire. Invite them to dinner. I would love to take you to dinner. I would just like an hour of your time. What restaurant would you like to go to? What's your favorite steak place? I'll make the reservations and watch. they'll never view you the same because it's very rare that anybody does anything nice to them. And that's how Puffy became VP of Arista Records. He took Andre Harrell out to dinner as a simple intern. Andre didn't need him to take him out to dinner. You know why he said yeah? Because don't nobody else ask him. Andre's probably the one picking up the tab for everybody. People are enamored when they get around somebody who says, this is what Funky Dineva tried to pull off with Tamar. But his intentions were wrong, which is why it didn't land. Oh, I'm going to piss some people off. You remember he kept saying, I don't need you. I'm not one of them. But your attitude was wrong because you don't have to say it. Just do it. Just do it. And you leave the tip. You make sure you can cover everything. When they say, well, can I leave the tip? Nope. It's my treat. That's it. And that's what Puffy did. And that's how he got the position that he got after all of those people died at that celebrity basketball game, okay? After all of those people were killed at the celebrity basketball game, he took Andre to dinner and got promoted to VP. Who does that? Where does that happen? It doesn't. It's not supposed to. But guess what? It happened for him. So the first assignment is they let him manage Jodeci. That was his responsibility. And Andre Harrell, and Mama Janice, I don't want to say it, but I'm going to have to say it. Just like Mama Janice conditioned him and taught him narcissistic behavior, Andre followed suit. Because Andre taught him to put themselves before the artist. You're more important than the talent. Make sure you always come out on top. Even though they're the singers, they can sing their ass off and we're making money off of them. They never come before you. Put yourself before them. Find a way that you're always coming out on the top of the hill. Whoo, y'all, it's a cold game in this documentary. And if Andre Harrell, as a black man in the music or record in the music industry, taught Puffy this, okay, so Andre Harrell taught Puffy to always make sure you put yourself before the talent. Who taught Andre that? Who did he learn this from? I'm going to tell you, some white man. So Andre inflicted, in my opinion, an overseer mentality over the dealings of his artists. Somebody had to teach him. So he's handing those lessons down to Puffy. He's creating a monster. That tells me, Andre, you were a monster. That's why I don't believe that you took Puffy in as your son. I don't believe this was a nice mentor-mentee relationship. I don't think so. I don't think so. Listen, what it showcases in this documentary is that men who are not talented become predatory over those who are gifted. And then they put them over Mary J. Blige. And her number one hit during that time was What's the 411? That put him on the map. What's the 411? I'm going to play you just a little. Y'all remember that? So he had Jodeci. Then he had Mary. Shortly after that, he and Andre had a falling out. Andre couldn't take it anymore. They showed a clip of them going back and forth. P. Diddy's like, I don't give a fuck. It don't matter to me. Andre said, well, it matters to me. Andre couldn't take it anymore, and he fired Diddy. And when he fired Diddy, even though Mary had become an instant success and Jodeci was a success, Andre realized too late, I created a monster. Yes, you did. A monster that's bigger than me, more powerful than me. He can out-philosophize me. He can outthink me. Diddy did to Andre what 50 is doing to Diddy. Diddy was 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 steps ahead of Andre. Y'all get it? So Andre had to part ways because that monster had become more powerful than him in his own home. Period, point blank. Now, how do you establish a culture of narcissistic black men? You reward them for their wrongdoing. You create a problem with a problem. You do bad, you go to jail, you blue face, you come out looking like a damn motherboard on a computer, your face is all tatted up, I'm going to give you interviews. You reward bad behavior with success, now you're creating a problem within a problem. And you wonder why our community is so jacked up and so fucked up. You are rewarding, you are creating, you're establishing narcissistic behavior. Narcissistic behavior is just a personality disorder, and many psychologists and well-studied scientists believe it's an incurable disease. Let me let that sink in. And what happens is when you create a pool of snakes, they begin to cannibalize their own people. They begin to cannibalize their own kind. And that's why people are starting to put bodies and have been putting bodies on Diddy for a long time, whether he did it or not. They said, listen, he should have never been promoted after all of those people died in that celebrity basketball game. Listen, he should have never climbed to the top after the death of Biggie or Tupac, whether he did it or not. But we see him win and win and win. That's called cannibalism. Have you ever seen snakes in a pit of snakes? Eventually, they start to devour and eat each other. No different. It's the rule of nature. That's it. That's all. Andre got rid of Puff, and he said, listen, I got to let you go. We can't do business no more. I love you. That set Puffy off. It made him sick to his stomach, physically, psychologically, mentally, and emotionally. He said, but I'm going to do you a favor. You can take Biggie with you. You can take Biggie with you. Puffy was so hurt by it, but he was motivated by it. And he told everybody, I'm about to go to the top. I'm about to do my thing. And this is where the introduction of the East Coast versus the West Coast happened. Andre let Puffy take Biggie when he let Puffy go. And then Puffy and Kirk Burroughs met with record label, music label after music label to no avail. And then they ran up on Arista Records, Clive Davis. They played a few tracks to a Jewish white man about street rap, hustle, thug shit. And he nodded his head and he bobbed his way and he said, yeah, I think we got a banger. Y'all, do you not see the dysfunction in that? A white man with an ear to the streets, with an appetite for a dark underbelly. What you know, if I go, you gotta go. Nigga, I hit him up. Clive Davis. An appetite for the dark underbelly. And that's how we established the East Coast versus the West Coast, right? This. So, Bad Boy Entertainment was established. Kirk received 25%. Janice Combs received 75%. It was a wrap from then. Sean had become King Kong. The first deal they made together was $10 million. He gave Kirk $1.5 million. He said, you do what you want to do with it. He took $1.5 for overhead. And at this point, that's when Tupac was rapidly climbing the charts with I Get Around. Mimicking narcissistic behavior. Narcissists mimic you. They copy you. They want what you have. And even though Mary was a hit, Jodeci was a hit, Biggie was up and coming, Clive liked Biggie, that wasn't enough. Remember, Eric said Diddy had everything, but everything wasn't enough. He wanted the world, including the West Coast. So he started to watch Tupac. He listened to his songs over and over and over. They, according to Kirk Burroughs, they dissected the lyrics, the beats. He studied it, and then he mimicked it with, I love it when you call me Big Papa. Throw your hands in the air if you's a true player. Hey! It was a home run. Love it, like it, hate it. Sean Combs is a mastermind. He's an evil genius. Now let's open the damn lines. For those of you that want to come up and spit and just share your opinion of The Reckoning, episode 1. This is what started the East Coast. Drop the link. That's all I got for y'all. I hope I was able to break that down. That was a lot for me as a woman trying to look at the hip hop stuff, but I hope I made it make sense. That was the jam back then and there. So the lines will be open if anybody just want to come in and just give their thoughts on episode 1. And then we're going to break down episode 2, 3, and 4. We got 3 more episodes to go. That's it. That's all. Connie, you're talking about Andre. You said Diddy was coming for his spot and he couldn't control him anymore. He told him he was coming for his spot. He told him he was coming for his spot long time ago when when they were embedding him into the crew culture. I think that's what they called it in the Bronx. The crew culture with Heavy D and all of them. The crew. Yeah. Now you see why people are hesitant to take in an outsider. Okay. I mean, that's why people are hesitant to say no new friends, no new friends, only my day ones. Because see, outsiders, either they're going to gel or mesh really well, or somebody coming for somebody's spot. Either they want to be your best friend or the best friend of your best friend. Hell, we can even talk about men that cheat, side chicks. What's wrong with that? The spot. She want the top spot. She ain't here just to let you use her sexually. She want the wife out the picture. Everybody always come in gunning for a spot, boo-boo, hoping you see their value. And if you don't, either I'm going to leave quietly and I'm going to quietly shut the door, or I'm going to blow up your spot. And I'm going to force you to choose. And Puffy started to misbehave. And Andre said, you got to get the hell up out of here. Period. Yeah. Bree said, baby, just busted a move in the kitchen. Almost busted my listen. It'll do it. It'll do it. Thank you, Naked. She said, you were brilliant. Thank you, Queen Sheba. It's been my pleasure. That was a lot. Y'all, it's a lot to take notes like that because it's all over the place. It's a documentary, right? It's not like you're watching a movie where the theme and it's going to flow and no, it's all over the place. So, all right, that's all I got. Well, listen, if y'all are good, I'm good. That's it. That's all. I will see y'all tomorrow. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. That's all we got. Have a good evening and continue to fire away in the chat. We'll leave the chat live for just a little bit. Y'all enjoy and go back and forth.
you.